Hello, 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 hello. How are you doing today? I'm so glad to be able to come up live again. Welcome to yet another thriving family talk. And today's episode is very, very, very interesting. The topic for today is finance dealings with extended family in a thriving marriage. Finance dealings with extended family in a thriving marriage. Welcome to today's episode. So we'll give a few more moments to allow more people to join in so that we can start off with a beautiful episode. Yes. Yes, so she can join in. Hello, hello, welcome, and thank you for joining in. Let's still be trying to add okay, let me see. Okay, I'm hoping she should be able to join easily. I'll try again. So I invite her again. So all previous episodes are on YouTube and they're also on Instagram. We've done several series, so we can also go check them up for more tips. We've been talking about the family, the thriving marriage, the thriving marriage. Okay. I don't know, there's a bit of connectivity issues, but we'll just try and hang in there and see if we're able to join in. Let me try and reach her. We will appreciate comments, your views concerning all we've done in the past and the how you've been applying them. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening from Nigeria. How are you doing, ma?
I'm fine, thank you. Are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. Okay, welcome to today's episode, and thank you always for bringing your wealth of knowledge to help to add to the family resources on thriving marriage. We are truly grateful, and the viewers, on behalf of the viewers, we say thank you very much, ma. So today, our topic is finance dealings with extended family in a thriving marriage. Can you hear me? Hello, ma.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can.
Okay, I said today's episode is on finance dealings with extended family in a thriving marriage. You know, an extended family, how do you categorize the nuclear and the extended family? The nuclear family is the husband, the wife, that's the father, mother, and the children. And every other person outside the husband, wife, children is the extended family. True?
Yeah,
And
true.
the extended family comprises grandparents, great-grandparents, aunties, uncles, great-granddaunts, cousins, in-laws, other relatives, siblings. But so today we want to talk about the financial dealings. I know we are very cultural people in Africa, and there is a whole lot of cultural expectation as regards to not just finance, as regards some other aspects, maybe spiritual, emotional. So today, my first question to you would be, what are your views? What are your perspectives on financial dealings in a thriving marriage with the extended family? What are your views? What are your perspectives on financial dealings?
Thank you very much, Coach Naomi.
Thank you.
Before looking at my personal view, I would like to first of all define what finance stands for, general view, denotative meaning about finance,
Yeah.
before we move it to my personal view. When we're talking about finance, It's a broader sense. It's the study and management of money and other assets.
Mm-hmm.
It encompasses how individuals,
Mm.
business, and government acquire, allocate, and manage funds
Mm-hmm.
over time,
Yeah.
including activities like investing, borrowing, learning,
Mm-hmm.
budgeting, savings, and forecasting. Essentially, finance is the process of channeling funds to where they are most needed or can be used most
Mm-hmm.
productively. So, this is the basic knowledge of
Yeah.
finance. We already know is a necessity,
Yeah.
and we already know that there are priorities to finance.
Yes.
We don't just say it's because it's available, we start dishing it out. And I will take it back now to like management of money.
Yeah.
And finance can be liquid, it can be assets,
Yeah.
and it can also be tangible variables.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are talking about finance now, it's boiled down to management of money, as
Yeah.
in that's
Management of money.
the one you can touch, you can feel,
Yeah.
and also the assets allocation.
Okay.
Then the other one is time value of money,
Mm-hmm.
then risk management. So when
Mm-hmm.
we are not talking about finance, my own personal view about finance
Mm-hmm.
is the personal finance, as in your own personal income or resources or profits that you
Mm-hmm.
have. Fine, it's yours, but in marriage, it's not also yours.
Mm-hmm.
Once you are married in a thriving marriage, that finance has to be communicated. Like, there has to be financial management
Mm-hmm.
in how the finance needs to be disbursed.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I feel that if one focuses too much on finance,
Mm-hmm.
then things will not work out well. But it depends, one will become a slave to finance. And
Okay.
any finance we make that we cannot enjoy
Yeah.
is no longer a finance, it's
Mm-hmm.
slavery. We should not be a slave to finance, and we
Mm-hmm.
should not be a vagabond to finance, because finance itself has spirits that control it.
Mm-hmm.
So we should not allow the finance to rule us. We should be the one in charge of finance. And on my own view, I prefer you knowing what you want before
Okay.
the finance come, so that you can know how to disburse it. But if you are just vague, that means I'm talking about planning the finance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about how much you are receiving. It's not about how much is your worth. It's how much are you spending. Does your spending match your earning? What
Okay.
is your expenditure? And in a
Okay.
thriving marriage, definitely some are very lucky that both of them will be meticulous when it comes to finance,
Okay.
but it's very rare. In thriving marriage, there will be a risk giver that gives out everything without a second thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there is will be the other one that is meticulous, saving for rainy day, guiding it. So all these things are meant to be discussed
Mm-hmm.
before marriage. Peradventure, if they were not discussed before marriage, now that we are now in that thriving marriage, you cannot impose the pattern of how one feels about money. Some
Mm-hmm.
people look at money like God, whereas people do not. Some people are not scared of
Mm-hmm.
finance. Whether there is finance, whether there is no finance, I can thrive.
Yeah.
I can stand up. I can speak up. I'm not scared. Whereas some people, they don't function without finance.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are that kind of a person, there is only when you have access to finance that you function.
Mm.
There will be problem with your spouse because you cannot communicate well. And such people don't live long because this finance is not something that you constantly get, and the more you get the finance, you don't have to continue to disburse it. There should be a limit
Mm-hmm.
to what you disburse. And at the same time, in my own ideology, I just feel that if you are a giver, give with the wisdom of God, give with
Okay.
the knowledge of God. Don't just keep giving without even having none left for you. If not, it will not be reversed, will be the case. The giver will not become a taker, because I realize that a taker do not know how to stop,
Yeah.
but a giver too most times do not know how to stop. So in a thriving marriage, when you know who, you have to identify who is a taker, who is a giver. When you know that your spouse is a giver, you have to know how to put a check and balance.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you still need to save. Both scripture, both anywhere, you have to save. You cannot wait from paycheck to paycheck, from one contract to one contract. It does not speak well. I just believe that finance needs communication, it
Okay.
needs planning,
Mm-hmm.
it needs it needs to be safeguarded, and it
Mm-hmm.
needs continuity, and also one needs to enjoy the finance. That's my own aspect. That's what I believe. I don't believe in you making money, then you become a slave
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot do anything, living a miserable life with the finance. To me, is a no-no. To me, even God frowns at that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, because there must be clear communication. That means you should be able to enjoy your money. You should be able to identify who is the giver, who is the taker, so that you'll be able to navigate, so that you can have actual savings and actual investments. So my next question would be, do you recommend that there should be a budgeted amount that should be distributed to the extended family? And is it okay to have a specific amount, or we should just release in a thriving marriage? It should just, as a husband or wife, should just be releasing as the needs are coming up from grandparents, from parents, from other relatives? What do you recommend? Should there be a mutual agreement, or sometimes maybe the man will sneak and give to his relative, or the wife's relative, or vice versa? Do you recommend that there should be a budgeted amount? Should there be a mutual agreement between the thriving husband and the thriving wife? What do you recommend?
Thank you so much, Coach Naomi.
Yeah.
Basically, because the Bible says, for two shall become one, there ought to be mutual agreement,
Okay.
communication in creating budgets
Yeah.
when it comes to finances.
Mm-hmm.
But most times, because our flesh is weak, we
Mm-hmm.
tend to break that mutual communication.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing now is, in a thriving marriage, you as a woman, if you understand that is living from paycheck to paycheck,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to know that the one coming your way needs to be saved.
Yeah.
The one coming your way needs to be invested. The one
Mm-hmm.
coming your way needs to be turned around
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of raining day. And how do you go about this? By having a, how will I call it now? A vision board about finance. or by
Yeah.
having a plan. Okay, I wouldn't really say, okay, we should have a joint account, because most times it, at times it works, at times it doesn't work. And one person always gets to bond in a joint account.
Mhm.
So the best way in terms of thriving marriage is that sincerity is there. Let's say 80% sincerity and 20% distrust, because maybe they might go behind you. What needs to be done is, okay, Obi, we have a plan, a financial plan, vision plan. This, the house allowance, I've gotten that. House allowance includes, okay, the daily needs, basic necessity, grocery, the children, everything all keep. Then, if you are opportune to be getting allowance from him too, you keep your own allowance. Then in that place also, bills to be paid at home. You itemize all the bills to be paid at home. Then every month you can do it. Some do theirs yearly, some do theirs every 6 months. Okay, this is the sum total money that is being generated in this house.
Mhm.
Okay, we've got parents, cousins, we've got parents, okay, siblings. So how do we go about it? We said, okay, you have to be sincere. For example, if you know your spouse is the sole breadwinner in his house, and in your own
Sorry,
house, you
let me cut you. Let me cut you. What do you mean by sole breadwinner? Breadwinner of which house? The nuclear family or the extended nuclear?
the
Both the
family
nuclear and the
is coming
extended.
from the extended family, the
Okay.
parents. So
Okay.
if the spouse, the husband, is the
Mm-hmm.
sole breadwinner in that house, and in your own place, you are not really the sole breadwinner.
Okay.
So when he wants to disburse the
Mm-hmm.
money, I'm talking about Christ-like now, not
Yeah.
selfish ego. Assuming you have $100, so
Okay.
$60 or $70 can go to your parents, that your husband's parents, and give 30 to your own parents. Why? Because you know your own siblings too, we add to their own. By the time they join everything together, it might be even more than your in-laws own. So you don't have to insist. If you are giving 70, you have to give that same 70 to my house. If you are a thriving marriage, that you are really sincere with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I know that also you too, you have been trained. You have they trained you, but now we are now looking at the context of who gets more, or who needs it more. That I'm talking about in a thriving marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you feel that, oh, it's too much, how can the parent get 70 and yours get 30? It's supposed to be 50-50. And knowing fully well, if you give your 50 to your parents, your other siblings will add 50-50-50. Then they will get more. And these people have a lot of bills to pay. That 50 you are sending to them will not be enough. That is not good, even in the sight of God.
Mm-hmm.
That is not kindness,
Mm-hmm.
because they train you, they train your husband. But now, if you want to disburse the money in my own aspect, according to the way of God in a thriving home, we have to come down and see, okay, he has some people to train. Then if you also have some people to train, then you can make do of, okay, instead of me getting a nanny, I'd rather take one of me to come and do nanny and be trained and go to school. Because the Bible says wisdom is profitable. And the man too, we appreciate you more and respect you more. That, okay, because definitely you are also getting something you are earning.
Mm-hmm.
You can also augment from your own little allowance you are getting or your work you are doing.
Mm.
Because if he is able to bring 30 from his own side, 30% or $30 from his own side to give to your parents, and you are not using your own income at all,
Mm-hmm.
you are going for designer, buying air, and now fighting in, then you are not in a thriving marriage. Then you are not uh, calling for the blessings of God over your life. If
Yeah.
he's able to bring 30% and he's giving 70 to his own people, you can also, or if you feel that okay, your siblings are not contributing, you can top yours up with 20, you can top yours with 10, and at the end, if you look at it in your own side, they will still get more than them. So if you want to disburse this money, we need to ask the Holy Spirit to help us. And
Yeah.
if you know that, okay, your siblings, their children are not going to school, do not start what you cannot finish.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say, oh, we start paying their school fees. No, you need to also come in and discuss with your siblings that, okay, where are you stuck? I can come in with this X amount, but I cannot come in with all. We should not try to make people have entitled mentality. If you pay once, they will want you to continually to pay. We need to be, in terms of budgeting, we need to be very, very careful,
Mm-hmm.
pray about it, listen to the voice of God, and let God help us. Because if you are trying to judge, oh, he bought a car for the mom, he did not buy a car for your mom, he bought this, we are not in competition with our spouse. The best thing is, if you see he's spending more to his people, then create an avenue for him to spend higher for your children. Because when you are stating the needs of your kids, it's his kids, he has to do it. But if you are now fighting for your own siblings, fighting for your mom or your dad, then you are ready to have BP, depression, and high blood pressure.
Mm.
Because you just need to be very meticulous. Don't create a scenario that, oh, I'm living in heaven, all doors open. I have even if I remember them vividly. There was a scenario in South Africa. This guy was making a lot of money and he
Mm-hmm.
was giving to the wife to keep, as in for rainy day. For rainy day. Do you know what this lady did? This lady went to buy BM for the mom, bought for the father, bought for the brother. Yeah, because the lady felt it will keep coming and be keep coming. And the guy was thinking that, okay, there is $1-2 billion in the accounts, my wife's accounts, not knowing that he had already squandered everything. They were broke, that even their property, they sold almost all their properties then. And if you now, even the parents, the family that is squandered the whole thing to, because he even had a transportation business, he did not get a dime. He was not crying. I said, if this man leaves you today, you caused it, because he confided in you. See, I don't want this money to be in my account. Let's keep it in your account. The
Mm.
mistake he made then was he did not lock up the account. You understand? He just felt
How would
trust.
they have locked the account? It's just, you know, that's what they call being too trusting to be careless. He would have asked for monthly rendition or frequent rendition of the account so that he can also monitor. Yeah,
Because he was always busy.
I know. See, for me, sorry, I'm cutting in. For me, for a thriving marriage, you must be accountable. You must be accountable. Whether it's the man that is managing the finance or the woman, I feel in a thriving marriage, you should be accountable. Even if not 100%, at least to an extent, as a good percentage, well over 50, even though not 100, you should be accountable when it comes to finance. You've already spoken that, okay, for you to disburse monies to the extended family, you should prioritize urgent needs. It's not a competition. The people who need it should get it. And we should be able to separate, distinguish between wants and needs. So the people who need it urgently at the most should get it. Then we should also explore non-financial assistance when a relative, an extended relative, comes to ask for money. Sometimes it's not truly money. Sometimes it's counsel. Do you agree with me, ma? Sometimes it's counsel. Yes, they might come, and because you should also give money and also preach financial independence. Because what I know and I believe is when you work for money, you appreciate it more, and the exponential growth is higher. I don't know how I want to explain it, but I think I understand. I'm trying to wrap it in my head. What I'm trying to say is God says he will bless the works of your hands. He didn't say he will bless the works of who continues to, as in, how will I put it? He will bless the person who gives you, yes, but your own hands needs to be blessed. And if you are not utilizing the hands, as far as you don't have any health challenge, where would your blessing lie? That means you have tied yourself and your blessing to somebody else. I don't think that is the definite pattern that God created for a thriving marriage, for husbands and wives in kingdom marriage. I don't think that's what God intended. Thank you very much for highlighting that urgent needs need to be attended to first. It's not a competition that, husband, as the husband or the wife relative should get more, gets equal. At least bringing out that salient point. And I also know a life story of, a true life story. The father told the son that, peradventure you have gathered and saved monies for an investment, maybe for instance to buy a car. That if you hear that I'm dead, buy that car. It is only a father who knows the importance of a nuclear family, the importance of finance in a nuclear family, that will be bold enough to say it. Because I know in Africa, that money, they will also want you to use it for the burial and forget about that, knowing that it's time for you to buy a car. When I heard that story, the respect I have for that father, that the old man, is beyond anything you can think about, because for him to get to that point, he knows what's up. Because the immediate family, if they are happy, emotionally, financially, spiritually, physically, they are okay, then the extended relatives would always get there. Sometimes it looks as though it is competition. The relatives who are being helped continue to demand for more. You've already highlighted, they continue to demand for more, forgetting that they too can also work. They too can also work. They can also become economically useful and financially independent. Because if you are not independent, your emotions will always be everywhere. You always feel that somebody does not like me somewhere. There is always an excuse. There is always something you have to say about somebody else's countenance, because the finance is not coming from you. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
I understand.
If I go back to the scripture, it says the poor you always have with you. So you will choose whether you want to be poor. It is okay to help, but I don't believe that a thriving marriage, the husband and wife should be drained. I don't believe that they should be under pressure. Pressure from external body. External body could be work. External body could be as in on incessant, let me not be rude, not incessant, increasing demands, unending demands, financial demands. It can create a strain on the husband and wife, because they are humans. Which daughter or son we want to see their relative downcast? There's no one. There's no one. So for a marriage to thrive, and I'm also sure those people also have their marriages, for any marriage to thrive, you must be able to sometimes look inwards and ask, should I really go and burden these people? Do I even know their financial state? Because I started with our culture. It's we are communal.
Yeah,
We are
no, it's
communal.
an enhanced entitlement mentality. And at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
it all depends on the the mindset of the giver.
Mm-hmm.
If the mindset I feel that without me they cannot succeed,
Mm-hmm.
definitely they will not also, or they will not succeed.
Mm-hmm.
But if the mindset had been once, like for example, I will use my father.
Mm-hmm.
Is my father was oh, he is still alive, but he used to be then
Mm-hmm.
UAC trained manager. I know
Mm-hmm.
how UAC works, as in every that they plan their finances for them. You understand? Even to 40, everything you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was my father's mouth I got to know that he will just like the siblings then that he had. He will take one from each child as they come. When you stand, you can lift the rest. Yeah, we take the stand. When you stand, you can leave the rest. And I heard this thing from his mouth. Then we always say, "Last chance, last chance." And when he's telling you last chance, he will never deviate from it. So that even we, the kids, that was the way we were raised. We were not raised in wastage. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So many people, they had when they were raising them up, they've already made them to believe that you know you are the one that will take care of your siblings. So you know your siblings are with you, and you know because of that word that has been coming from their own parents, encouraging them to be tying their own destiny, hanging their financial what's it called, disability, that they have a brother to look onto, they
Mm-hmm.
have a sister to look onto. Definitely, there is no way the marriage will succeed. I used to have a very good friend then, back then. This lady, she didn't have a problem with the husband at home. The husband was always going offshore, provide her needs and everything. But do you know what? All the things the husband was buying at home for them and everything, he will keep going, taking them to the siblings, taking them. One of the siblings is staying with her that they're already training. He will keep, he will fight and fight. He will call the husband, he will yell. Even the car that they bought for her, he will give to the brother, go and use it to do cab before the husband will come. At times, because the husband in offshore, maybe at times some people will see that they saw this car picking people. The husband like, really? He will like, no, the family okay, or things like that. So one day, that was, I'm talking about like 15 years ago, I looked at the lady. I said, do you think you are their God? And funny enough, you are not the first, you are not the second, you are almost second to the last. If this your husband is God sent to you, he's already paying school fees for one of your brother in school, and at the same time your last is staying with you, then why can't you relax and also tell your seniors, sort yourself and your children? You cannot come and hang your children on me. And then she wasn't even working. Like even bottled water, she had to boil the water and used to fill bottles so that the kids will not tell the father that is boiled water that they were drinking. So then I told her, I said, you just pray. Let God open your eyes that you are the problem of your marriage. As far as I'm concerned, this guy is doing his best to the best of his knowledge.
Mm.
You cut ties away from these people. Or you say you have established them, you established them the first time, second time, third time. Then why are you still bothered about them? Grow, matured in your mind. If you can open NTM shop that did not work out, open Okrika shop that did not work out for one person, open kerosene shop for one person, it did not work out, open computer business center for one. I say, shows that you are not their God. You are not the source of their financial breakthrough. Calm down. This pressure is too much on you. One time she now ran, she came to my house. I said, and my husband too was also. I said, where? This 2 a.m., I'm not going to allow you to sleep here. I'm taking you back to her, to him. He said, why? I said, because where I'm from, there's no way a married woman will leave the husband's house. And whosoever that put that married woman in the house, we also have a fine to pay because she wasn't from our side, it's the husband. I took her home. The husband didn't want to open. When the man heard my voice, he opened, he entered. We judged case from around 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. that morning. When the man was saying all the things he was doing, when the man left, I said, you are the one that want to drive yourself from this place. You have forgotten that this man also have family. And his family are not even depending on him because they Chevron that, but he has a mother to take care of also. Do you want to kill the mother? No. So if this man is sending money to the mother, don't fight him. That day she like, oh, it's just that she realized all her mistakes. She came back, she was crying, thanking me and everything. I said, no. Don't allow people to use you like a sponge and dump you. When you are out of that place, all these people you think they like you, you will see the other side. You will not believe it. That month, that guy went, there was now an accident in LNG. Just 2 months that they asked them to stay back. None of the siblings ever came to check on them. None of them even call and said, oh, even the one sending MTN card or even strike and say, okay, I'm sending you MTN card. I know your husband is not going to work now. So the husband now said, if I did not have savings, 2 months in Port Harcourt, where we now have lived and everything, 2 months, nobody came, nobody. Since that time, he now told them that now I think I'm done with you people. I said, you don't need to announce to them you are done with them. It's your own mind that you will need to mature. And no, nobody can use me as a rebate. Nobody can use me as in bitterness. You understand? God has made all of us to be the head. Our destiny helper. That's why in the Bible it says we will look unto the east from where cometh our help. So if you are giving, tell them, oh, at times it's even better to say, I borrowed it to give to you. They are going to pay back and see if they will even pay back. And I met a man one day also. He said he's an accountant, that the first job he just got then in Lagos. He now went home and told the father, Daddy, they are going to be paying me 50,000 naira. The father said, what? The next day, the father got to office and resigned and said, God forbid, I cannot work again if my son is receiving 50,000 naira. That was the end. From there, from that 50,000 naira, he was now putting the bills of he could not rent us because he had to stay with them to pay the rent, to feed the father. Now, like, I would say what the father did was bad. The father just felt that maybe they've been giving the father insult in the place of work and everything. And now felt that this money is too big. Thank God, God has answered my prayer. After all, I trained him. So the mistake he made there was that he wouldn't have exposed himself that this X amount I'm receiving. Because he never knew the father could like bring out that kind of color, because he knew the father used to be very hardworking father, but it turned out to be something else. So in a nutshell, don't expose your source of finance to extended family. If you have $100, give them that impression you have $20.
Would
So
I not
that
be lying?
no,
I'm just asking.
I'm saying to your extended family. I'm not talking about your nuclear family.
No, whether nuclear or extended, you don't. You just let them know. Okay, sorry, I'm cutting it, but there's a template I try to run with. I try not to be God in anybody's life. I help. I help. So what before I help, I just ask, Lord, what do you want? Is it 100% finance or there is part counsel, there's part finance? It's okay to help. Do you understand? But there is a help you will render and you will now be like God in that person's life. That way you will now be sharing glory with God. I don't have a problem with helping anybody. But those you always help, they never want to stop that help. They always, like you mentioned rightly, they feel entitled. They just keep demanding. And they forget that the person who is working the money, like you rightly said, I understand where you are coming from, but I just wanted to converse with you. When you are working, you are not getting any younger. Sometimes you are not okay. You can't go back to these same people you are giving money to tell them that you are not okay. You just be managing. There's some people are actually sad. They just do it out of routine. True or false? They just do it out of routine so that
And
they don't have to be explaining.
that's why, to some extent, I'm not cutting
Mhm.
you short.
No, 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 it's fine.
I like some family that when one stands, he stand the second one,
Mhm,
and he stand the third one, he stand the fourth one.
mhm,
Then, when anyone is struggling, they can be able to render help.
mhm,
For example, you can see that some people, e.g., I want to say, for example, like
mhm,
Indians, in this type of community, when like now Africans are now going to be looking for money to pay school fees internationally, these ones, they follow a pattern. What is that pattern? That is in sex. As in the kids of this age,
mhm,
they already have the plan that this age mates of these kids, all of them, they are
mhm,
going to international school. They know where to source for the scholarship. They know the ones that they will pay fees for. How do they do it? By saying that, okay, I give you this finance to finance it. You bring it back. I give to another person to finance it. And that age group, as soon as they leave, they are also going to be motivating the younger ones, like generational words. They know how to turn things around. But in Africa, when one stand already, he will not feel that I will not want the other person to stand. I'd rather be giving and be giving and be giving and be giving. Forgetting that when you keep giving and giving, not establishing where your own source might runs dry. If it runs dry, where will you turn to? That's why,
mhm,
if you notice it, even Igbo people, they have that kind of culture, like when that they don't just give you as in maybe you want to do party or what. They will invest. If they are doing any business, they will like set you up to you to do the business. Now that other person too will set up another, we set up another. So they now have a chain of success in their
mhm,
family. When we are talking about in a thriving marriage, if truly that we want to really focus on helping people, what is that need? Is that need for investment or just immediate gratitude or gratification? If it's
mhm,
immediate gratification, like help me to eat, buy food stuff, help me to pay children's school fees, I to this month, this school year, next school year, then that is not helping. That is wickedness. Because you need to be fair, you need to be sincere, and you
mhm,
also need to collaborate with your partner. Because if you are not collaborating with your partner and you are not doing out this money, when all the sneaks are now down, where will you fall back to?
mhm,
So most times it's because there is no transparency. That is why couples tend to get bitter, fight, and everything. Like my friend I use as a scenario, not until the husband was asked not to come for like 2 months or 3 months because the gas plant caught fire, LNG that time, and there was no income for 3 months. And that was when she realized that she has been on the wrong. The husband is right, because she never believed that there will not be a time salary will not come. She felt the man was stingy, but the man was like, guy, I am a principled person. I don't spend more than 40% of my income every month. I have to do other things with my money. I cannot spend all. But she was like, why can't we spend all? That you are being selfish, you are being greedy. At the end, it take another scenario for her to realize that you are on your own, no why own, on your own. When it comes to finances, the people you help are not the one that will come and help you back. They are not the one that will come and bail you out. It is always good to educate them that, look, this is what I have, and this is what I can use to help. And this type of help, don't think it will be consistent, because I've got bills to pay. I've got a house to run. That's why they say, don't allow the family you came for to destroy the family you are making.
Yeah.
So if you know that you don't want your family that you came from to destroy your family, that's why you need to be transparent with your spouse. You need to like make your spouse to know that, okay, I have it, or you, if it's okay to even spell your spouse you don't have it, because if you say you have it, she might devise another means to collect it from you. Then you will not have savings again. Not until you know how mature your spouse is when it comes to finance before you start opening the old blueprints. Not until you know that she's not easily distracted, is not easily distracted, then you can know that, okay, this is a finance. But if you both know that you cannot trust one another, or both of you, any little party, you cough out your money, then you now do this formula. Have a joint account of savings that nobody have access to. Both of you must have access to it before you can take from there. Before a withdrawal can take place, two of you must be available, except in the case of death, that the other person can collect it. And you will not collect ATM for that account. You will not collect a checkbook for that account. Therefore, you know you have something back up in a thriving marriage. You understand? That is that financial literacy, financial management, and like, okay, this is what we are doing. And if also is investment, there ought to be long time savings for investments. And if it's retirement plan, you also have to know, okay, he has a plan for his retirement. What is your own plan for your retirement? All the allowance you've been getting, are you also blowing it away in the name of to match designer or this? Or are you saving for rainy day? Because it's so alarming these days. You will see people's mother using their kids' school fees to buy shoes, to buy hair, to buy that, and their kids going to school owing school fees. Meanwhile, in before our own generation, the mothers of them were selling their clothes to train their children. But these generation mothers, they are spending their children's school fees to food their wardrobe. I just pray that Holy Spirit will take control, will help us, because finance itself has a spirit, which is the spirit of mammon. So there is no one that is so perfect and righteous that said I am perfect when it comes to finance.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. You talked so much that we should continue to make, husband and wife should continue to still make strategic decisions when it comes to money. They should be able to manage it. They should be able to save. They should be able to invest. Their finance should be able to increase, because I know of a colleague who says whatever they are paying you now, in it has your pension, in it has your future monies, so that when you stop the active work, you will still have what to take care of yourself in old age. Household expensive, living expensive, healthcare, education, and other needs must be budgeted for. I know nobody plans ever to be sick, but there needs to be a budget. There needs to be a budget for the nuclear family that is not to be touched. If I understand finance management very well, at least you should have in an emergency account at least 1 month's earnings, whether as a business person or as
Mm,
a 9 to 5 worker, in
mm,
an emergency fund account that you can always draw from.
mm.
And there must be a specific budget that should be given to the extended family. There may be rarely you can actually touch out of your savings to help the extended family, but
In
that there will
case
not
of
be any
emergency.
budget. Yes, but as much as possible, every request that comes as finance could end up being mere counseling. I had to learn it from one of my work mentors. She would tell you, you must learn to look and interrogate the financial request. That sometimes what they just need is a little push, which is true counsel. Sometimes you actually need to release the actual money they're asking for. So at every point in time, you must be able to decipher whether you can actually counsel and let the person look inwards to be able to curate yet another means and not collect money from you. Like I always tell people, it is sweet to be dashed money, but
Mm,
you can never be sustained on dashed
mm-mm,
money. It is not the template. It is not in God's agenda that one should thrive on dashed money. Thriving, the thriving family, which comprises the husband, the wife, and the children, can be drained when all the pressure comes externally and all the funds are going out, because sometimes they lose touch with themselves. So, for the thriving marriage, there must be intentionality to create an emergency fund to support the extended family. There must be a specific amount. And it is very pertinent that you stick to the limit. Avoid overextending yourself, because your mental well-being is needed for you to continue to make the money which you also plan to be giving to extended family. You should avoid overextending yourself as a husband or as the wife, even when faced with emotional appeals. Is it very tough? Yes, it is very tough, but it is very doable. You must be able to support them and not straining yourself. You can imagine, I remember there was a story I know of the one of the couple, that's one party of the that's the marriage, used to feel that, how will I cope now? My relatives are around. This is what I want to do, but I'm scared because I'm around. Truly, that scenario can be created, but you just have to make your up of mind that I need to take my children out, or I need to do a certain activity with my children. You don't need to feel bad. It takes a lot to get there with extended family members living with you, because sometimes they'll be feeling like, the person doesn't love us. So now I want you to talk about it. When you have extended people staying with you, and you need to do an activity that just involves maybe just the father, mother, and children, or maybe just the father and the children, or mother and children, whatever the case may be, how do you navigate it? Because you have eyes that are looking at you in your house. How do you handle that? How do you handle it?
Okay, thank you very much.
Mm.
In a thriving marriage to start with,
Yeah,
if I on my own perspective, how will I put it? In my own
yeah.
view or based on my own experience, one thing I've realized is it is not right to have extended people staying with you at home. I have my reasons because I realize that the people staying with you or growing with your children, they will always want to assume or even some to even bully your kids not to be able to be free in their own father's house. And they are not staying with you people with their clear minds. They
Mm-hmm.
have that resentment in them that you might not be seeing. And I, not once, not twice, I've realized that all these people coming around to stay with a nuclear family, as in your kids, like age mates, your kids are the ones that go through, that suffers it. Because any little thing, those kids will want to like chip in one or two things that it's not your fault, that be gaslighting these kids.
Mhm.
So be very, very careful if you have people staying with you
Mhm.
from all sex. Because, for example, you cannot have kids staying with you that your kids will be going to the school you want them to go, and you put them in another school that your kids are not going. Then you, number one, you've already set that boundaries
Mhm.
and create enmity, because it will be there. Why can't they put all of them together in the same school? So it is always nice to help people from afar and get a nanny or a paid person to be with you. But if they are there, two things that can be done is for them to, from the onset, you inform them that these kids coming, I will help them in my own capacity, but not to be doing competition with my kids. But the next thing you will hear is not treating me the way my she's treating her kids. Forgetting that these your children are your children. If you cannot take care of them like your own kids, you cannot take them to park like the way you take your child to park, take them to vacation the way you take your children to vacation, I'm of the opinion that don't have them under your roof. Help them from afar. You cannot tell them now, we are going for vacation, go and stay with your mom or go and stay with one auntie. When we come back, we pick you. I want to give an instance now. You know, in this part of the world, when people are going back, expatriate, relocating, you know, like some of them that have pets,
Mhm.
they will like, you know, you have to take, you know, they have a place they normally keep there. Now they said the government facility for all this, because they don't want stray animal on their streets like dogs and everything. It has to have owner, and it has, if it's not, they will keep somewhere. So now they said that place is filled up enough of all these animals, because all these people, they will have like 8 dogs, 5 cats and everything, and to we take them back, it's very expensive. So this last person now said, oh, I just found out that the place we wanted to, they said they cannot absorb the cat. Do you know, there and there on that platform, somebody said cats are for life. If it's your baby, will you not take? And knowing fully well that these people are financially handicapped, as in it's something that happened that make them, they cannot food it. He said, why can't they take them? They do take, they should take them to England as they are going. I looked, I said, God, because you cannot satisfy human beings. Don't bother keeping kids of your age mates in your house. Then you will not say, okay, my kids will go to A school, their kids will go to big school. If there is no unifying factor of all of them going to the same school, all of them entering the same car, eating the same lunch, taking it, don't take. And if you have any at all, start winding up to make them have a place to go, because they are not 100% happy with your kids, except you are giving, even if you are giving them the same treatment, the same everything, they will still have a little resentment that I'm not your blood. Because this thing I'm talking about, I've lived with a child before, I've lived with a teenager before of different race, but I realize it's still the same thing. That's why human psychology is so vast, and it's always advisable, if it's not your blood, help from afar. And if they want to be with you, there's no way that you will not find it difficult. If they come to spend holiday with you, you have to do the things your kids are doing with them. If you know when they even come for holiday, for vacation, if you already have plans for your own kids, you have to discuss with your kids and tell them we need to slow down because you cannot afford all this with these people. When they go, we can do anything we want to do so that we will not expose our kids. Just as that lady that you were saying that he said people are around, oh, how will she take the kids? She's right, because there is no way she can take the kids out when the whole congregation is there. The woman needs to go back and inform the kids that, not as if I'm scared, but wisdom is profitable. Watch movie, take popcorn. When they have gone, we do what we want to do.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this very insightful episode. We have learned, let me recap, that there must be clear communication, there must be clear boundaries. Why should we have clear communication and clear boundaries? Because you have to avoid resentment from extended family members or even the couple themselves, and also to help cater for, as in to cater against financial strain. Then we should create a budget meant for the extended family. As you were talking, what dropped in my spirit is the Joseph template. He actually assisted his brothers and his father, but he assisted them from yet another house, not
Afar.
under his roof. Did he help them? Did he make them comfortable? Yes. So for a thriving marriage, that's another template you can actually adopt. Also remember that we should be able to distinguish between wants and needs, know when to give finance, know when to actually counsel, and let the person look inwards to be able to decipher what next to do. And as much as possible, it's okay to help extended family members, but they must get to the point they must become financially independent,
Independent.
because dashed money is not a sustainable means of livelihood. Expenses will always be there, but there must be intentionality to work so that you can actually meet those needs yourself, because the well-being of the husband, the well-being of the wife is necessary. Without that, there can never be a thriving marriage. Sometimes the request from extended family brings chaos into the nuclear family. That is sometimes the genesis of ills, of disharmony in the marriage. So we have to be careful. Yes, I know we are communal people. I know we are a generation, as the African generation is the tradition of intergenerational support. We are very big on it. And we also have cultural expectation. Immediately you start to work, there are unwritten expenses that have been attached to your salary. We must try to downplay it because we need more thriving marriages. Truly, there are husbands who are under strain. There are wives who don't even understand who they are anymore because they just want to make sure that extended family members are happy. Making extended family members happy, it is a good place to be. But let us remember that the husband and wife have to thrive. And for them to thrive, there has to be peace. There has to be progress so that the prosperity which everybody is coming to take has to be sustained. Having finance is a gift. Yes, it is a gift. It has to be managed. So I want to hear your closing remarks so that we can end this episode, financial dealings with extended family in a thriving relationship. Can we hear you, ma?
Okay, I know is there's this scripture that say, "It's not of him that willeth, but of him that showeth
Okay.
mercy." The most times
Mm,
we should also learn to assist in prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you mentioned the story of Joseph, I remember that even while Joseph was in prison, the Bible says he prospered. What does that one mean? That irrespective of where our extended family may be, we need to first of all work on their mindsets.
Yeah.
That okay, if job isn't coming, why can't you create one or establish yourself in a business? Then write a proposal for the business you want to do, and we pick it up from there. If you have a 500, if the person writes a proposal, you know definitely the first time most business does not, that it will not work, it will not be established, failure might arise, then you have the second backup that you give the person, which after you know you have done your part with that particular person, so they can no longer say you did not help. That's one. And secondly, because finance is spirit,
Mm-hmm.
one also needs to tell them before before giving them the money in cash or by transfer,
Mm-hmm.
for them to pray. You pray together that whatsoever is making them to beg, whatsoever is making them to be cash strapped, you nullify it from their life, so that your own gets to them. Your own finance will not be cash strapped. Money is a spirit. The only language money understands is prayers. And the people also begging, if they realize that they've been yoked as a slave of beggar, they will not want to beg again. They will not want to feel like, how will I forgot how to, they will not make, most times they come and make people feel bad, like gaslighting people,
Mm-hmm.
like you need to work on your emotional, you have to have emotional intelligence, emotional maturity to
Mm-hmm.
deal with extended family when it comes to finance.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have emotional intelligence or emotional maturity, you will transfer the the how will I call it?
The pressure.
The manipulation. No, not pressure. It's not pressure now. They come to hypnotize. When they want to collect the money, they hypnotize. As in, you know how we started for, you know how we were eating together in the same place. Now that you are now married, your wife want to separate us. Your wife, and that one too will be buying the idea as in, oh, okay, it's my wife that is the problem. Your wife is not the problem of them begging. Likewise, is your husband is not the problem of them begging. So if you give ear to them, they will hypnotize you, they will manipulate you. At the end, when you are finished giving them, you will come back home and be fighting your spouse. Don't let anybody put you under duress. Don't let anybody put you in what's it called, emergency exit of just everything you have, bring. And I pray that God will touch many more families, that they will
Amen.
all be givers and not takers in the mighty name of
Amen.
Jesus. And I pray that spirit of gratitude, because when you start learning how to give gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
appreciate, then
Mm-hmm.
the door of financial breakthrough will open for you also. Because the
Mm-hmm.
Bible says if God can trust you with little, he will do more.
Amen.
So when you collect little, be grateful that you were able to collect. Be grateful for where you have gotten it for. And the next part will be, you will now learn to look unto the heaven for you also to be a giver.
Yeah.
And I believe that those takers, I don't think it ever occurred to them to say, God, I also want to give. And if you have a family that you know that nobody can conveniently give you 5 million, as in just use it for now, give me back when you are true, then you need to pray for your family too. That's in, pray for your siblings that the way I have this cash, let them also have it by crook or by hook. That
Ah,
is
Pastor
no.
Bridget.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, you even if when you are just going, just remember that no, these people to need to, they need to give my children something too. The way I'm giving their children, pray for them, intercede for them, draw them into the wealth, move them from that mindset of lack to abundance. The God that did it for you will do for them too.
Amen.
If possible, if there is love, you guys can meet maybe once a month and just pray for nothing but finance. And God will open doors.
Thank
Amen.
you very much. Thank you very much. We have heard, I'm sure we've learned one or two things about the financial dealings with the extended family for a thriving marriage. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining this episode. I'm sure we'll go back to direct our finance so that we can not just be directing it, our emotions will also be okay and our mental well-being will be stable and balanced. Thank you very much. We'll see you again in the next episode. Do have a wonderful rest of your day, even as we close out on this episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Shalom.
Bye.
Bye.